This is Gateway City Sports.
It's a trap!
Good evening, Cubs and Cardinals fans, and welcome to the Team of Rivals podcast. It's opening day, Thursday, March 28th, and this is the Team of Rivals podcast. You can follow us on social media, Team of Rivals Pod. For those of you who prefer to watch the show, we also are live on YouTube, Facebook, and Rumble, and X tonight. So hit the like and subscribe buttons and be sure the notifications are on so that you know anytime we post new content. You can find more great podcast and blog content on the Gateway City and brand new to us, Fuel Sports Networks. Joining me for this week's show, co-founder of TOR and number 151 on C70's top cards on Twitter for 2023, Ron Nuttall, and our permanent occasional guest host. And tonight, ladies and gentlemen, he's our host. He's in charge. Elliott Dewey. But before we give Elliott the mic, you know, in light of Craig Counsell's new, apparently permanent top third of the lineup, we would be remiss if we didn't play this. And with that, Elliott, the show is yours. Why are you guys not? Okay, so we can see you guys, but we can't hear you.
How about now?
There we go. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now, but I don't think Ron or I can hear any of that external audio that you're playing.
Oh, well, you know what I played.
I know what you played. You probably played the Ian Happ.
I did play the Ian Happ. For some reason, Ron's showing that he's muted and he's calling timeout on the show.
We are off to a swimming.
Well, we are off to a rocket.
Part of the problem. You can hear me now, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
When we started the show, the microphone that's in front of your face is not what was picking your voice up.
Yeah, I know. I noticed after I switched over, it had me.
Probably why we couldn't hear the audio.
Probably, but it's all fixed now.
It's all fixed now, except the recording on my end is going to sound like shit to start out with. Because you
I've got it.
You couldn't hear the intro music that I was playing either, could you?
No, I couldn't. I've got it covered.
That's great. Yeah, so this is awesome. Yeah, this is I guess growing pains of what are we using? Rumble? You tried?
Yeah, yeah, we're using Rumble Studio, and we're broadcasting on like 4 or 5 different streams. So we'll see how this goes. I mean, other than that, you know, growing pains, learning a new one.
I'll recut the beginning. Audio people won't know the difference. They'll just think, these guys are fucking up. Like
I've got the whole thing. Don't worry about it. You don't have to do anything, Ron. When we're done here, you can just go to bed.
Really?
Really?
I don't have to. That is fantastic. We should do like this more often.
I know we should. Elliott, you're in charge tonight.
That's right.
Yeah, this is fantastic. So opening day. I know Pete and I were probably a little bit more excited than Ron was, having both of us having a challenging start to the season with St. Louis going up against the Dodgers this afternoon, and then Cubs currently going against the World Series champion Texas Rangers, which is the weirdest thing to say. But Ron, did you even catch any of the game today?
No, I didn't. By the time I looked at the score, I mean, it did start a little bit, even for East Coast, being a West Coast game, it didn't start until about 4:30. Well, given that we're leaving tomorrow, I did have work. And then by the time I got home and checked the score, it was already 5-1. It really wasn't worth turning on at that point. So no, I didn't. Obviously, the only thing I've done is look over the box score and saw that the Cardinals had 3 hits, and all 3 of them were by Paul Goldschmidt.
Hopefully
Whatever.
that's not things to tell for the season. I caught a little bit of the game this afternoon. I had it playing in the corner of my office on my iPad. And I tell you what, it doesn't seem that the Dodgers are really rattled by anything that's going on in the background. Maybe it's just the opening day stuff.
Yeah.
But they are going to be a ridiculous team this year to beat. I would imagine they're going to be somewhere between 100 and 110 wins this year. Easily.
I tell you, I had two reactions.
Pull it together. You're better than this, baby.
I had muted my own microphone. Go figure. I had 2 reactions during the day today. One, Elliott, how good does it sound? The last place St. Louis Cardinals.
Right now, it sounds great.
It sounds fantastic.
Weren't you guys? I mean, hold on. Well, it's not new, guys. It's the new norm. So you've been looking at them at the bottom of the standings now for. I mean, if in a couple months, it's going to be a year. So what's this? How does it feel? You should have been asking that question last year.
Yeah, I know, but we were so caught up in whether or not we were going to actually finish above 500. And I mean, we were in the wild card race until
at about the end of June. We were looking at, holy cow, are they going to start selling off again?
Yep. So yeah, we were too preoccupied with what was happening to our team to even dwell on the possibility that the Cardinals could finish.
And then you got that little bit of a tease, early August that
yep.
You might, and then
the really
gravity
run,
broken, right?
So that was the one good thing that I enjoyed. And then another thing, we talked about it last week. I completely forgot about it until it popped up in my notifications, and not to go back and dig the knife in, but we talked about Trevor Bauer and how he was put on administrative leave while he was being investigated, even though he hadn't been charged with anything yet, and how that pertained to Ohtani. And today reminded me that there's an even more relevant comparison. This morning, got the notification that Wander Franco has been placed on administrative leave. Now, I'm not saying that raping young girls is the same thing as betting on baseball. However, he hasn't been charged. Major League Baseball is investigating. Wander Franco is on administrative leave from baseball and has not participated at all. How did Shohei Ohtani do today sitting on the bench? Not playing because he's on administrative leave, right? He's not playing while he's being investigated? No.
Doesn't work.
Started his first at bat with a two plan. Double.
Really?
Double.
And he went 2 for 3 today, so he sure as hell didn't do that on administrative leave.
So
no, he did not.
So he's being allowed to play.
Yeah.
Even though he's being investigated by Major League Baseball. Interesting. Interesting.
What's interesting about it, though, right? I mean, lots of things, but obviously, from a morale's standpoint, obviously one thing is, I think we can all agree, one thing is worse than the other, right? I guess one accusation is worse than the other. But what's interesting about it is one will for sure get your ass banned from the league forever. And the other one, I'm not so sure what that rule is. I don't know. I guess it depends on the offense, but one gets you technically banned for life. The other, I don't know if there's a conviction or something that happens. I'm not sure how baseball looks at that.
I think the other one sends you to jail for life.
Well, jail may answer the question for baseball, right? If you're put in jail for however long, your chances of getting back into baseball are probably, they probably evaporate. But I don't know what the rule is, but yeah, it is to Pete's point. No charges, but out of the league, and then they're making an exception for Ohtani. Not saying that the accusations are equal, but to Pete's point, it's fair.
Yeah, and I think it's too early in his career to pull a Michael Jordan where you're shadow banned for 2 years and you take your penance and you go play another sport, then come back because you got caught gambling.
Right. Well, adds
So
to the intrigue. But yeah, no, I didn't watch any of the game today. It wasn't really even out of lack of interest. It was just, I wasn't home, and by the time I looked at the score, I'm like, really not a point in me tuning into this one. I'll catch one of the other 161 games.
after you get back from vacation.
But Cardinals Twitter, you might as well just put like Cardinals logo up and says eliminated.
I can only imagine.
Yeah. But I have yet to go back and watch a recap or anything. But the sentiment is, it's just a piss poor, energyless showing, which to me means if I see the same thing, if I go back and watch it, which I doubt I will, then it's just they've picked up right where they left off last year, where they're going up against they look very much like little boys going up against big boys right now, and they can't keep up. They don't have enough muscle. They don't have enough firepower.
Well, I think a lot of that's going to happen this year against the Dodgers. When you
but I
mean, you
but
look
the
at
only thing you ask for in that Elliott is, even if the win-loss is not in your favor,
yeah,
I think you still show up and you still put up a fight. I mean, that's what you want at a minimum. I think in most games you want to see your team, competing and in there, and for the rest of the lineup to not touch a ball, and you have 3 hits from the guy who had the worst batting average in spring training. So if is there any more data we need on how much spring training stats mean, they don't mean shit. But anyway, this is pretty much a poor showing for opening day, and you like to see your team compete a little bit harder. You may still end up on the short end, but 7-1 is a pretty boring game.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Definitely for Cardinals fans, it's a frustrating, boring game, and anybody any third party just watch the game that's neutral. That's a boring game.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that just because you had a great spring training doesn't mean you're going to have a great start to the year. Craig Counsell today was on 670 The Score, and he had those same exact sentiments, saying that, hey, just because somebody had a great spring training this year, he's like, doesn't mean they're going to come out of the gate hot for the regular season. He's like, there's something that triggers, and you go from a laid back spring training to, okay, now these games mean something. And with a team that missed by 1 game last year, they're not going to be looking to put any 1 game on the back burner. So,
the Cardinals were spring training champions last year.
I believe the Dodgers were in the Cactus League.
Dodgers were, this year in the Cactus League. But the Cardinals were, they had the little, I don't know, ESPN or Major League Baseball does it, but they give the team logo with a crown over it saying spring training champions this year. It's like,
who is the Grapefruit League champion this year?
Oh, I think it was the Orioles.
Oh, and that's who everybody's saying.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, this may go. I mean, this may make us sound stupid here. The spring training stats don't make sense, but I think the 2 heavily favored teams to meet in the World Series probably did end up in the top of their spring training leagues.
Although the Orioles did not bring up their heavily touted prospect Jackson Holliday.
I know,
everybody's screaming service time manipulation.
Yeah, I saw something about that, and I don't.
Is that a thing anymore, though?
I don't think there's a thing, because it's because of the rule change with the service time. I think they said it didn't matter if they brought him up now or in a couple months. It just, there was a amount of games that he has to play for it to kick in, and it's not going to matter whether they did it now or later.
I don't know what the I don't know what the rationale was, but you got to look at it too. How desperate are the Orioles to bring up another outfielder right now? And are they pretty much set? I'm sure the fans would love to see him.
Yeah, 100%.
How bad do they need to do it? Do they think look, a few months more in AAA is not going to hurt anybody. If anything, it should help him. He's still incredibly young. So an injury could open up a path, but if they weren't desperate to bring him up right now, I guess if I was an Orioles fan, I'd be maybe frustrated, but
well, and also, now there's the prospect promotion incentive, right? So they're potentially throwing that away. So you have to take that into consideration, right? If the guy breaks with the team, and he finishes as rookie of the year, you get a draft pick. I don't recall exactly
the
where
Orioles
it
need
lands.
Yeah. There's some sort of
Right.
compensation
More
pick that
draft
you
picks.
get.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not just rookie of the year, right? If they get like an MVP or a Cy Young in their first, 2 or 3 years,
Mhm.
or if they finish in the top 3, something like that, they get another first round pick. Like, yeah, I'm looking at this now.
It's crazy.
Rookie of the year winners are guaranteed. Let's see. Players who are in second or third in rookie of the year voting earn their team a pick in the international draft. Players who win it earn their team a first round pick. If they finish top 3 in MVP or Cy Young voting, they get a pick after the first round. And if they finish 4th or 5th in Cy Young voting, they earn an international pick. There's no incentive now. Sorry, there's less of an incentive to keep a rookie down in the minors.
Yeah. Well, I think the Orioles are going to be pretty good regardless.
Think so.
I mean, they were playing the Angels today, but if they weren't desperate to bring up another outfielder, there's probably nothing wrong with thinking that he didn't spend. I don't know how much time he would have spent in AAA, but maybe they feel that hey, a few months down there before we pull the trigger on this feels right to them, and could be they need to add somewhere else at the trade deadline or late in the year. Maybe that's when they bring him up because maybe they move an outfielder out for something they need. So I think they're keeping that powder dry.
And obviously the Rangers feeling the exact opposite. It'll be interesting to see what happens, right? Because the Rangers brought this kid Langford up, and he's only got something like 44 games in the minors.
Yeah, he's 22. I mean, they pulled him right out of college. So, I mean, the kid, he's a big kid. So, had his first RBI tonight. So, in the game, he's got one of the 2 runs so far.
Yeah, looking at I got the game on in the background, but it always annoyed me. The first home series, if you're the defending world champs, you have the gold piping around all of your numbers and letters on the stupid arch-like name they've got on the back of the shirts this year. As a fan, I remember, a couple times that's happened in St. Louis in recent memory where I was annoyed by it. Like, it's like, okay, last year was awesome. This whole thing was awesome. This is a whole new year. Can we please get into the new year here?
One of the other annoying things that they did tonight is they hung their banner, and it's crooked, and it's got like a big fold in it too. So it's
like a crease.
It just got
no, because it's crooked, it comes down, and it's got like a fold in it.
Oh, I'll have to look at it.
Yeah. It's
they haven't hung a banner yet. It's a learning curve. It's kind of like Pete working Rumble tonight.
That's right. First time.
It's true.
Got a big old wrinkle in it.
That's right.
I remember
a dress rehearsal this afternoon.
I don't think we talked for 45 minutes on our first stream because we didn't know we were on.
Oh, is that? Oh God! I
remember you were out here.
Were you just kind of staring at each other?
Yeah, we were looking down like, is this working or not? And then it's working.
Are we live?
And then we didn't know what to say. Yeah.
Still don't know what to say.
It's still
hey, before we get off the rookie of the year talk, Victor Scott II.
Oh yeah.
He got his first stolen base.
Yep.
He didn't get a hit though, did he?
No. There could be many more.
Base. I'm excited about that. I'm excited about stolen bases. I love stolen bases.
You know what I know you guys don't like is bunts.
I do. I like
especially tonight.
Deployed bunts.
No,
I was talking about Justin Steele's hamstring injury, that apparent hamstring injury.
They called it left leg tightness, but there's a video shot of him laying on the ground that they've got playing on a loop on Twitter where he goes, it's just cramps. I'm cramped.
Is this like the Lovey Smith School of Injury reporting we're doing here?
It might be.
Left leg tightness. Okay.
So hopefully it's nothing too serious. Hopefully it is just leg cramps and he'll be ready for his next start after some fluids and whatever. So, but if it is something else, I hope
some liquid IV and put his ass back out there, right?
Right. Give him a banana, give him some liquid IV and say, you get your ass back out on that mound.
Nolan Ryan used to do that all the time. I'm pretty sure like guys like him and Bob Gibson probably pitched. Well, Bob Gibson did continue pitching with a broken leg at one point. That's one you can look up.
They don't make them like them anymore.
They don't. In fact, you know, also they don't make them like anymore. I saw flipping through just regular YouTube. There was I don't know what year this was, but they had Will Clark up in the booth at a Cardinals game recently. Bader was still on the team, so it had to be a few years ago because I heard them talking about him in the background during a play. But they had Will Clark on for like an inning and a half. I'll send you guys the YouTube link, but it wasn't about, hey, Cardinals this, Cardinals that. It was really like towards the end of it, talking to him about the way the game is played, the modern game, and he really went into it's soft now. Kind of the sentiment that, you know, analytics, you can pretty much throw them out the window because once the first pitch is thrown and once the ball's in the air, like none of that stuff matters, right? Like you got to do what you're trained to do at that point. So he's got an interesting take, a very old school take, but an interesting take, and it just makes you like, you know, for fans our age that grew up, you know, and watched baseball during the time that we did when we were young, man, it's just you miss guys like that, you really do. He was just a ball player. You know, and anyway, so it was interesting. It was an interesting chat. But another thing that I saw before we went on tonight, guys, is Bobby Bonilla has another payment deferral from, I believe, is it Baltimore? Where he gets paid $500,000 up and through 2029.
Wait, by the Orioles as well?
I think the Orioles, yes. I
thought it was the Mets.
In addition to the Mets?
No, the Mets, yes. The Mets goes through 2035, but he gets $500,000 now from the Orioles up until 2029. This guy's a genius.
He hasn't played baseball in what, like 15 years?
It's more than that. It's probably been 20.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
Yeah. I saw that. I don't know if it was maybe it's out there on Twitter, but
we're going to be talking about you realize that we're going to be talking about this 10 years from now when it's Shohei Ohtani Day and he gets his $68 million.
Yeah, there'll be a Shohei Ohtani. What's that deferment go through? Like, hold on. I'm trying to find this, but
well, yeah, he signed what? It's a 10-year contract, right?
He's also paid by the Orioles every year from 2004 to 2028. How did everybody miss this?
Well, because it's overshadowed by Bobby Bonilla Day up in New York, where he gets, what is it, $5 million?
1.19 million.
And he retired at the end of 2001.
That's it. Oh my God. He gets paid for almost 35 years after retiring.
I mean, that is
incredible.
The craziest.
That's one hell of a pension plan.
That is one hell of a
plus he gets the MLB pension, right? And he's got the gold card because he played 10 years. So he's got the gold card.
I know.
You hear about that? I just recently found out about that. Do you know about that?
No.
What's the gold card?
What is it? I think it's 8 years. It's 8 or 10 years. When you get 8 or 10 years as a gold card for Major League Baseball, and it's got your name engraved on it, you can show up any park and get your tickets to the game.
Is that happening for you, Elliott, or just me?
No, that was happening for me too. He sounded like a robot.
Yeah, you went into auto tune there,
Pete. So it sounded like you get a gold card with your name on it, and you can go to any ballpark in the MLB and get 2 tickets to a game.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, why not?
What else? 8 or 10 years of service time. They get a gold card.
And he gets the owner's parking spot.
Well, Bobby Bonilla does.
They deferred that to his contract too.
That's incredible.
I did not. If I ever played, I would just that would be it. I would just walk in and be like, I want the Bobby Bonilla contract. I want to get paid for 35 years after I retire.
I mean, you got to adjust for inflation, so it wouldn't be a million anymore. It'd be like 4.5,
5.
Yeah. Why not?
Still,
or 68.
You know what? I would take $1 million a year for 35 years for not doing jack shit.
Yes. Yeah. I wouldn't even need that gold card.
I'm sure he's coaching somewhere too and still making money.
Probably.
I have no idea. I have no idea what Bobby Bonilla is up to these days, and he probably doesn't care.
No, he doesn't. I'm sure he invested wisely. So
$1 million a year.
1.5.
1.5. Yeah.
I don't know how that one snuck under the radar.
Well, during that time there wasn't social media and all that around
Mhm.
where you could focus on that and get the news and go look up his contract right away. I mean,
Yeah,
you
but the
would
Mets one has
actually
been
have
such
to
a
go
like,
search
there's a
that.
Bobby Bonilla Day out there on social media that has gone on for years, and I haven't heard
July
anything about
1st.
the other one. Yeah.
It's July 1st of every
I
year
just
he
do they
gets
happen
his.
on the same day? We'll have to find out. Do they happen on the same day?
I think it does. I think it's July 1st every year he gets his check.
I know that is for the Mets. I don't know with this Orioles deal if it's the
Oh,
same
I don't
day.
know the
It
Orioles
should be
one.
the same day because the guy should be celebrated for pulling off a stunt like that, I think. That's great. Anyway, thought I'd
Yeah.
I'll do my research.
add that to the
Yeah, so
content
it-
tonight.
Add that, yeah.
All
So
right, what's next?
okay, so consensus is Cardinals game boring
Yep.
today. I mean, we're top of 9 right now with the Cubs, still 2-2. We got morale up.
Close
So,
to the Ghost Runner.
And
Favorite part.
Yeah.
by the way, he receives it from both teams on July 1st every year. He receives $1,693,248.20 on July
Excellent.
1st of every year through 2028. And then in 2028, he's going to it's that $500,000 pay cut. It's going to be rough. I hope
Yeah.
he's pulling ahead because that's going to be quite an adjustment. It's only 4 years off. I hope he's got that, marked on his calendar.
I'm sure he'll adjust his
Yeah, adjust his
spending
budget. Yeah.
in 4 years or 5 years.
Yeah. You
I
just could
hope
tell
so.
his wife, honey, we're on a fixed income now. We can't,
That's right.
Yeah,
we
we
got
can't
to
do this.
we got to tighten our belts.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. Yes, Cardinals game was boring.
I don't know. I found it exciting every time that I got notifications on my phone that while I
The
was doing
Dodgers
spring
scored.
cleaning around my place, Dodgers scored again.
Yeah.
Dodgers scored again.
Yeah,
Dodgers scored again.
Michaelis was the opening day starter with Gray. I don't know how much longer he's out. It won't be long, but they had to go with Michaelis and
10.38 ERA.
yep.
baby.
Well,
Well, I liked before the game how Michael has said he was hoping that he could come in and wreck their first day of baseball.
He did. He
What do you
wrecked the
want
first day of baseball for Cardinals fans.
Yeah, he did.
yeah. Who do you mean by there?
The Dodgers.
Oh.
It's what he meant.
You probably meant the Cardinals Twitter fans.
Oh, yeah, from the first inning.
It
on.
really was. If you, I mean, this sounds stupid. This is like trying to cherry pick to find things that make you feel better, but it was too bad. It was 2 pitches that did him in, right? He's a 2-run home run to Freeman, and I think a 2-run home run. I can't remember who the other guy was, but
Betts.
yeah. So,
Of course.
a couple bad pitches, but obviously let some guys on in front of him too. So it's the way it goes. But again, I'll say it like I've always said. It doesn't matter if it's 20-1 and this ended up 7-1. If your team's only going to put one up on the board and only one guy's going to show up to hit, you're likely not winning anyway. So it doesn't really matter how your pitching did or didn't do.
Yeah, and that it almost kind of sounds like the 2023 season for him too, where there was only maybe a guy or two who would show up per game, and that's where they, besides pitching, that's where they had their real issues, was with some of these guys who were supposed to be hitting, not hitting in either clutch situations or stringing together hits to drive in runs.
Ron, what do you think if let's just say that we're in the same place that you guys were last year? Do you think that Goldschmidt and Arenado are on the trading block? They try and do this again and honor their veterans. And if they're in the same place, if they're in last place on July 1st, is Mo still employed?
Well, I mean, you start off with the manager first, right? I know everybody was flipping out how Ollie was giving the extension, and the timing of it did kind of suck. But if you're committed to like riding into the season with him this year, probably riding in with the lame duck manager isn't the best message to send to the players in the clubhouse either, right? So you lock up a manager for a couple of years, like you signed a 2-year extension, but this is not a player commitment, guys. This is a coach who's going to make a couple million. And if this team is losing again, first, Ollie will be gone this year. If they continue on this season where they left off last year, we're into June. A managerial change is obviously, I think that's one of the first things to happen. I still don't think Mo will be let go in season. I don't see that happening.
Do you think if they finish bottom half again, is he still employed next November?
That's a good question, man. DeWitt's pretty. I mean, he's pretty committed to his long-term relationship, so it'd be a hard thing to imagine. But I think that's what they have to do. I think they have.
I mean,
to
if you're going to let him go, you got to let him go right after the season ends, don't you? So that your new guy can get started.
You do, and you got to find. I don't know who out there they would bring in, and hopefully it would be somebody from the outside. Because keeping all this shit internal has just not worked in their favor, and they've started to reach out a little bit outside the organization, to bring in some people with maybe a different perspective, a different opinion, which is good. I think they need that. I agree though, Pete. If he's not going to be there in 25, he's got to be let go as soon as the year's over, to have somebody new take over and at least have some impact in the offseason.
So if this doesn't happen, I mean, you have a lot of obviously promising, at least they look promising, young players. Do you trade guys like Arenado and Michaelis, Goldschmidt at the deadline and try and rebuild this thing?
I think you have to.
I mean, I know that's not anything that the Cardinals have ever done, but
no, I think they have to. If it's clear they're going to have another poor year, and finish under 500. I do think that there'll be a little bit of a purge in terms of the veterans who can bring value somewhere else and they can actually get something out of. So yes, if they're going to finish, if they're going to end up this year like they did last year, I don't think there's any question. I think it's not just going to be a little bit of a pitching sale. It's going to be a position player sale too. So yes, I think that will happen.
It's going to put the Cardinals fans in that situation that they haven't been in a long time.
Well, I mean, but they're going to have to face reality. I mean, you can argue that reality should have been faced a while ago, but
well, yeah, I think we were saying this last year too, at about midway through the season that, hey, what are they going to do? Are they finally going to have the fire sale and start getting rid of some guys? Are they going to bring in the 45-year-old left-handed pitchers that they do every July?
Well, they still may do that, but it's hard to imagine they keep the core of this team, position players, intact past the deadline if they're anywhere, if they resemble anything that they were last year. I think some of those guys will be moving on. I think they'll be happy to move on. They can't keep doing the same thing every year, half measured steps, and expect to turn it around. Everybody just to start playing better, which I think is what they've hoped for. And that's not happening. I mean, this starts years and years ago by pitching neglect. Basically, is where this has started, right? And we all in the show called it the last 3 or 4 off seasons that they were not doing enough in terms of just pitching help. They weren't fortifying it. They weren't reaching out. And they ended up trading for 4 left-handers over 2 years, all veterans at the end of their career, just to patchwork the rotation up. And they can't. That's not sustainable. You can't do that every year. You got to do something about it. And you could really argue this year, Sonny Gray was the only maybe acquisition of any significance. The other 2 guys were, can be healthy, can eat innings, but they're most teams they're a 5th starter, right? I think my answer is if they're that bad again in July, I do think that Goldschmidt, Arenado are going to be players that'll be shopped around.
Well, Ron, I got a veteran left-hander for you to think about if your team is possibly in contention. Are you ready for this one? He plays for the Pirates. He's going to be available. He's going to be available because they're going to be terrible again. Aroldis Chapman.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's not a starter, though.
I know. It would be a little bit of a change for Mo, but, got to be willing to try something. Speaking of which, I have to admit, he gave an interview, I think it was like 2 weeks ago, where he actually admitted that he screwed up last year, which I don't think that I ever saw. I don't recall Mo ever admitting that he screwed anything up.
I thought you were talking about Chapman, so you switched to Mo on me. I'm like, what did Chapman admit he did?
Yeah,
screwed
no.
up?
Mo admitted that he screwed up last year, which I thought was interesting. But
Yeah.
I jumped there because it would definitely be a change for Mo's MO to go and get a left-handed reliever. But maybe that's the vibe that he needs to throw out there in order to
Left-handed
bring home a
reliever
win.
of Chapman's caliber. Yes, that would be different. But over the years, they have brought in a handful of left-handed lefty specialists, if you want to call them. I don't know if those really exist anymore, like the classic loogie that we're used to. There have been a few of those they've added over the years, but yeah, I don't think they can. I don't know. With the Cardinals, they're going to go halfway to where they need to go continually, and then hope that luck fills the void. I think, and that hasn't happened. So I don't know if they're gonna tear the team down mid-year, then tear the team down. Don't do it part way. Don't do it a third of the way. But that's what I expect this front office to do. They won't do enough to score in the red zone. They'll settle for the field goal every time.
What a disservice to your fans and to you, Ron.
Look what
Seriously,
it's done.
I mean, that's such a disservice.
Look what it's done to me. I started a soccer podcast.
I know.
Yeah. Well, the shitty part is you know it all too well as a Bears fan as well, because that was what the cycle of being a Bears fan was like the last 10, 15 years, and hopefully the cycle has been broken. And it's great that
probably
Cole
why I hate the
recognizes
Padres so much, because
too.
they're exactly like the Bears are. They'll throw a lot of money at something to try to get into it, and it never works. And then they'll start over again. So yeah, that's probably why I have a distaste for that club out there, because they somehow back of my mind recognizes, boy, these guys behave a lot like your Chicago Bear team does. They'll go get
they don't.
They'll go get these guys like the DJ Moore, but it just never works out.
And it seems, obviously we're switching into NFL talk now. I mean, it seems that that may hopefully be what the Bears are doing differently this time, is they're bringing in the rookie quarterback, but this time they're actually putting an infrastructure around him so that he can potentially succeed.
Not going to let him run for his life for his first 2 or 3 years before they say, you know what, maybe we'll get him some line help and maybe one receiver that can actually get open instead of, the guys that have the sunshine out of them every once in a while where they make a great catch.
Justin Fields would have been a terrible Navy SEAL or Marine recon guy, because one of the things is it's a phrase. It's I'm up, he sees me, I'm down, and that's so you don't get shot, right? You don't leave yourself exposed too long.
Right.
Fields would have been that guy.
Yep.
Man down. Justin Fields. Corporal Fields down.
I mean, look, let's
stood up too damn long.
Let's give the guy his due. He had a pretty porous offensive line in front of him.
Yeah.
But there's a reason that he has been at or near the top of most sacks taken for the first 3 seasons of his career, and he's got to wear some of that.
I mean, he was sacked 9 times in one game.
Well, yeah, he gets caught buffering every time he's trying to read the defense downfield.
Yeah. That's so perfect.
That little blue wheel spinning, and you're like, there he goes, he's down again. Blue screen of death.
He's only got 2 reads. His first read and tuck it and run.
That's true. And he's buffering 100%. In the middle.
That's right.
Yeah.
What else you got for us, Elliott?
Well, Cubbies got lucky. They are up.
Did. I was kind of watching that out of the corner of my eye. That looked like a foul ball to me.
It looked like a foul tip, but the ump said no, and the catcher just wanted to sit there and argue instead of
how young is their catcher? I don't see Gas Money making that mistake.
No, he's going after the ball.
He's going after the ball.
Just in case.
Yep. And Bush is
still you know why the Rangers are going to lose their home opener tonight, right?
And the fact that that's not reviewable is crazy.
Yeah, how is that not reviewable? How's a foul ball not reviewable?
Don't know.
That's stupid. Okay, Ron.
Yeah, it is. No, I agree. That's maddening how what things it's like football. I don't want to go back to football again, but it's like, why are some things reviewable and others just aren't when you feel like it all should be, right? If the point is to get things right, then why not?
Although credit to the NFL in a couple of the rule changes that just got passed. One, some of the flag calls are now reviewable. I think what is it, roughing the passer and intentional grounding. Those are reviewable. And also, you, as long as you get one of your two challenges correct, you get your third challenge. Which,
that's interesting.
honestly, that's better. But I'd love it if it was just you keep getting challenges right, you continue to get challenges. So if the refs keep screwing up and you call them on it, you get 6 challenges.
Yeah.
Hey, get the calls right, you idiots.
Uh-oh.
What did I just miss?
Home run.
Ron's smiling, so it must be tied.
I don't know if I'm ahead of you or not. I didn't want to spoil it for you.
Oh no, you're pretty. I'm guessing you're pretty far ahead of me.
Okay.
I've got Jankowski up to bat right now.
Oh yeah, it goes well.
Yeah, he's up to
Okay.
bat.
Must be all that.
Well, I'm
cold
streaming,
sleeping.
so because it's on ESPN, and I can't pull it off the. For whatever reason, I can't get ESPN at all.
I'll just say this: our closer is now 0 for 1
All right, well that's good. Well, in save situations.
in save situations. Yeah.
Okay.
A
little too early.
The good news is there's still no outs.
Hey, that's good. All right.
Yep.
Oh, there it is. Okay. Well, I mean, credit where due. He it was inside. He just didn't get it far enough inside. So
No. Yep.
So some lefties like that, right
Yeah.
there.
they do.
Alzolay left it in the middle of the plate. Can't do that.
Oh wow. Only a 99 exit velocity and 26-degree launch angle. So
That was one of that interview I was talking to you about. Like somebody asked him what was his, Will Clark's average exit velocity. He's like, I don't know. I either hit the damn ball hard or I didn't. Like that was kind of his sentiment. Like I have no idea. What was your launch angle? Well, I don't know. It either went over the fence or it didn't.
Yeah.
hey, speaking of asking old guys about how things would work for them, did you see what Pete Rose said about the whole Otani thing?
No,
I
no,
missed
no.
it. What'd he
Curious
say?
to see what- yeah,
Yeah, somebody asked him about it, and he said, "Man, I wish I was back in. I'd get off scot-free now."
He's probably right.
He's not wrong.
Nope.
I mean, if they don't do anything with Otani, you have no argument now for keeping Pete Rose out of the Hall of Fame.
No,
None
the-
whatsoever.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I don't know.
And-
They find a way.
And the Black Sox, I mean, you got to put Shoeless Joe Jackson back in now because there was no proof that he bet on baseball. So if you're going to let Otani continue to play,
Guilty by association.
yep, you're going to continue to let Otani play, even though his interpreter was using his money. And come on, that's the one thing I got to tell you, just really frosted me with Otani's appearance on Monday. How did your interpreter get access to your billions?
That's
What I was saying. Like,
great question.
why? I understand maybe an agent, a financial man, some manager that
Your wife.
works with you, your wife, but your interpreter. I know it's your best friend, Pete. We're really good friends. I'm not giving you my debit card or my credit
Yeah.
card.
Ron, it's only $4.5 million. Don't worry, I'll put it back.
Right.
Yeah.
You'll never
that when
notice.
it was gone. I had no idea. Thought I was buying
Unbelievable.
Bitcoin from FTX.
Did you hear one of his excuses? I heard this today while I was cleaning up. Did you hear one of his excuses for why he shouldn't have gotten such a stiff sentence? He apparently made some argument that he's got some condition where he isn't able to enjoy things. He doesn't experience pleasure.
What?
Yeah.
Well, it's
Cool.
they say like, he's diagnosed. He's got some level of autism, right? Something like
Sure.
that. Yeah, but
Everybody does.
I'm pretty sure he's still like it
The-
could still
the
register
tisms.
somewhere up in that grape that what I'm doing is wrong.
You think?
I think so. But I don't
Hey,
know. I guess
shout out to
normally
Duke.
set up a company in the Bahamas, I guess.
Shout out to Duke in the YouTube live chat. Just with the quick little comment, Bonilla smile, baby. Yeah, I bet he does smile every July 1st.
Every July
Absolutely.
1st.
Absolutely.
Oh.
So anyway, I don't know. Well, we get the Ghost Runner situation coming up in your Cubs game, but somebody did get on base. There's a runner on first, right? Nobody out yet.
There is. He got
Uh-oh.
walked.
Owls
And still nobody out. Although
And
I'm
still nobody out.
minutes behind you guys, so who knows? You guys know what happens. I don't.
That's true.
Apparently, our favorite website, Elliott, has me multiple seconds behind on the stream. So
Oh, yeah.
The
well,
price
that
I
makes
pay.
sense.
I've still not
Of zero.
subscribed to MLB.TV.
neither am I.
My son keeps telling me I'm going to break down at one point. And I don't know why he thinks that's such a victory. Yeah, they'll be well, he's 19. That's why he thinks it's a victory. Anything you can do to prove your father wrong at this age, right? But there'll inevitably be a Saturday or a Sunday when there's nothing going on, and I just maybe want to turn a baseball game on, and I don't want to watch, the Nationals and the Phillies or something like that, right? That's kind of a local broadcast. So,
Right.
yeah, I might cave to a point where I just want baseball on in the background again. Or maybe I want to watch just baseball in general, and I, used to have the ability to watch just about any game. Now I got to rely on what's being broadcast, right? Either on a network like ESPN or, one of the sports networks out here, which actually I'm not even sure YouTube TV carries, so I might not have those anyway. So yeah, it'll be some point I probably do get back on the wagon here, but it ain't today, fellas.
Well, and it sounds like if you want to subscribe to the St. Louis Cardinals only, you would have to do it through Amazon, and you'd have to be local, which I think is kind of ridiculous.
It is. Whatever.
Yeah, all the Bally sports are being bought out by Amazon, so Amazon will own all the Bally sports. So their NBA, their NHL, and their MLB streams that you'll be able to subscribe to, but you have to be local and in that market to be able to subscribe to it and watch
Can
it.
baseball not ever get this right?
I know.
Just take it away. I know you guys don't use it because you don't watch it, but I do love how the MLS Pass has done this, where it is no blackout restrictions anywhere. Doesn't matter. You pay for it monthly or you pay for the full year, you get everything. Right? There is no blackout restriction. I love how they've done that. I really wish baseball would do the same.
Going to extras, boys.
Well, I think that if if Major League Baseball eventually gets all of the streaming rights back, which I think is their goal, I think that's what they'll do.
They'll have to. I mean, they really have to. If they want to do it right, that's how they have to do it.
I agree.
Think ultimately, that is their goal, and
For
I
them
think
to stop bleeding fans.
yes,
Yeah. I went on that diatribe last week. It's gonna be more than just fixing what's up here at the show, right? They got to fix it all the way down to the bottom. Anybody who gives a shit needs to be thinking that way.
I agree. I mean, if you got to give them options, you got to give them more options. I mean,
what option, Elliott? I didn't get. Sorry to cut you off. But one option, because I'm going to forget this. One option I didn't give my son. He wanted one of those sliding gloves. He sees the pros wear. The mitts that they have in their throwing hand.
Yeah.
You start getting on base, we can talk about getting you one, but not until then. You're not getting on base enough to even worry about wearing a damn sliding glove. So we'll talk about that when you actually start getting on base. And then maybe we'll talk about that new bat you want when you start fucking hitting the ball with authority. And we'll talk about that too, but not until then.
Yeah.
Okay. I just got to add this because I'm sure he didn't mean to say this, although if he did, my God. Duke back in on the chat. I have a decoder for my VCR that allows me to watch every MLB game in the country. Your VCR, Duke?
VCR.
I hope that
I hope that
either
meant
mistype
DVR
or a massive joke.
VCR reminds me of my mother, who's
Duke, get IPTV, man. You can. That's
my mother is, as far as technology, my mother is the worst. I mean, she was the worst for years, guys. I had to explain to her carefully, like the TV does not have to be on for the VCR to record whatever it is you're trying to record.
Yeah.
Well, how is it going to record it if it's not on? Like, Mom, it comes into the TV doesn't have to be on. It'll record it. And she did not believe me. It's probably to this day. I worry about her getting called by one of these, scam people, right? Like she'll go for it.
Ma'am, you owe $5,000 in taxes. I need you to go to Best Buy and
Right. Your
get
son
me
Ron
some
is in
gift cards.
jail in Mexico. We need $1,000 to get him out,
Right.
and sends the money along.
And I need them in Olive Garden gift cards.
Olive Garden. No, it's
Oh my
video.
God, Duke is Dustin.
Oh wow. Okay.
Oh well, Mr. Duquesne, thank you for joining us tonight.
Yeah.
I may be able to convince Ron to do this more often now that he doesn't have to drive the live stream
Oh
because
Jesus! I
kind of
still don't like
figured that
doing
out.
this part. I'd still much rather do the audio, but at least as long as I don't have to control anything, I'm fine. And
all you got to do is sit down.
I can retire the Wirecast.
There you go.
I think you may be able to.
That's fine.
We'll see how this turns out. As long as I get the microphones all going the way they're supposed to.
You get one. You gotta have.
All
It
right.
can be a different problem next week, but it can't be that one.
Okay, you got it.
All right.
All right, boys, what do you think?
Well, I think that if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to leave a comment just like Dustin and subscribe. And if you want to help spread the word, please give us a 5-star review and tell your friends to do the same. We're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever else you listen to podcasts. And we also occasionally live stream like this week on Rumble, Facebook, YouTube, and X. Yeah, we're on X tonight. Be sure to check out the other Gateway City and Fuel Sports Network podcasts, including the Derek King Sports Show, the X-Fan Show, Talking Sports on the Bleachers with Don Glenn, and At the Park STL. Has that launched yet, Ron? When does that launch?
Oh yeah, we already had the first one's already come out.
Oh, is it in the feed?
It's no, because long story short, you can set up Apple like same day now, where before it took like 10 days to 2 weeks, right?
So we need to search for At the Park STL. You know what we'll do? We'll put the link in the comments after the show.
All right. Yeah, no, we did the first one. I intend on keeping it pretty short, but it's every Sunday, usually match days on Saturday. I know they have some midweek match days too, but match day for MLS is on Saturdays, and we're going to do this thing every Sunday. It's only going to be about a 20-30 minute per clip, so be short and sweet. But yeah, you can find it at the Park STL. And do I have that right? I probably don't have that right. It might just be at the Park STL. Hold on, let me check myself. It is.
We'll put the link. We'll put the link in the description.
At the Park STL on X if you're looking for it. And you can if you go to your podcatcher, it's on all of them now. So you just look for At the Park STL and you'll find it.
You can find Elliott on X at
TOR_Elliott.
And you can find Ron at
TOR_Ron75.
And you can find Gateway City Sports at Gateway City SPRT. And you can find Fuel at Fuel_SN. And of course, you can get in touch with us at any social media channel at Team of Rivals Pod. Elliott, it's your show, buddy. Your turn. You get to take us out.
Hey, here we go. It's the beginning of the long season. Hope you folks join us for this ride. We'll try to entertain you as well as we can. Thank you so much, everybody. We'll see you next time.